What is the proper bet size when you are placing a sports bet? This is a very, very important part of sports betting is to know what your correct bet size is. And this can mean several things. It could mean what your unit size is compared to your bankroll, but it also has to do with being selective of which bets you take. Now, I know there's some disagreement on this and there's some debate over this, but there are circumstances where if the edge is too small, I will not take a bet. I will wait for a higher edge. Some people say you should just always take every bet that has an edge, no matter how small. But to me, it actually makes a little bit of a difference depending on which sports book it is, and I'll kind of get into the reasons why. So let's jump right into it. Let's look at screen share and look at the positive EV page on OddsJam. Okay, so this is the positive EV page. This is the bread and butter. This is where you should be getting most of your bets. If you look on the left side of the screen here, the bets that have a check mark next to it, I have already placed. The bets that don't have a check mark next to them, I haven't placed. Some bets have a caution symbol on them, which means I've already placed bets on that game, although not that particular bet, possibly, or maybe I have on that bet. So I have this screen set to the sports books that I use. It is very good to use multiple sports books. Generally, the more the better. Although there might be some diminishing returns if you have too many sports books. But you should have as many as you can get, while not spreading your bankroll too thin. So for me, it has a recommended bet size here on the left side, and it is usually in descending order. The larger bets recommended sizes are at the top, and as you scroll down, they get progressively smaller. So where did this number come from? So this number comes from two things, more than two things really, but it's a formula that is based on your bankroll. So you actually can go into the settings and type in what your bankroll is. Your Kelly multiplier, which I have set to the default, which is a half. You can lower it or you can raise it. If you're super conservative, you can lower it below a half. Some people do 0.1, for example, as their Kelly multiplier because they want to be extra conservative. To me, that's a little bit too conservative. If you want to get really, really risky, you can go all the way up to 1. You can go higher than 1 as well, but it is not recommended according to the Kelly criterion. If you go higher than 1, you're actually the variance will be too high for your bankroll. So I would say 1 should be the maximum, but I have it set on the default, which is a half, because I'm somewhat conservative, but not too conservative. So it's based on your bankroll, your Kelly multiplier, which the default is at a half, 0.5. The expected value of the bet, and the expected value is here on the left. So you can see for the top bet, it says 3.27%, and the variance of the bet. So all those things get taken into account to determine what the recommended bet size is. And for the most part, I follow this when I'm placing a bet. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, I follow whatever the recommended bet size is. If it tells me to bet $45, I'll bet $45. There are a few exceptions, which are kind of obvious. If my bankroll balance, because I've placed so many bets that day, drops below, say I've got less than $45 left in the sports book, obviously I'm going to bet less than that, whatever the amount is. Another one is with a certain sports book, Bovada, which limits my bets. I normally don't pay much attention to what the recommended bet size is because I know 9 times out of 10 my bet is going to be less than that amount anyway. So on Bovada, I don't even pay attention to what the recommended bet size is. Most of the time, I just click bet max, and it does the max bet for me. Now, besides this, there are other things to take into account. If you're placing daily bets, you should be doing this every day. There's no off days for sports betting. Almost every single day of the year, there are sporting events going on. Maybe there might be some weird days, before the All-Star game on baseball or the day after the All-Star game where there's no major sporting events. But pretty much every single day of the year, there are sporting events going on. So you should be doing this daily. No off days. So the other thing that I recommend you do is pay attention to whether you're churning through your entire balance of a particular sports book. So I have 4 sports books selected. on this page. There's like 100 and something different sports books you can select from, but there's 4 that I have active balances on that I'm actively betting on. So I only have 4 selected. And there's 2 of those sports books which I daily go through the entire balance. The other 2 I have fewer bets on because either I'm limited or there just aren't that many good bets available on those 2 websites. So if you're constantly churning through your entire balance every single day, then I recommend you become a little more selective on what bets you place. For example, Bet Any Sports. There's always bets available on Bet Any Sports. There's no shortage of Bet Any Sports bets. Every single day, there's scores and scores of Bet Any Sports bets available, to the point where my balance gets used up, and then I have to wait for some bets to win, and then I have some more money, and then I can go ahead and bet those. But there's a other sports book like Bet DSI where I don't get that many opportunities. And on Bet DSI, I can be less selective. I just take whatever they give me. But for Bet Any Sports, because I'm constantly betting my entire bankroll on that website, not on one bet, obviously, but on a whole bunch of bets, I have become more selective on what bets I take. So for me, I have a minimum right now. I could change that minimum, but right now, the minimum is $25. So if a bet is less than $25, I don't bother with it. So for example, here's a bet right here. Well, this one I've already bet. So that's a bad example. But here's a perfect one right here. Barcelona versus Almeria. And on this soccer match, it's on Bet Any Sports. It's recommending a bet size of $15. So I will not place this bet because I know there's going to be no shortage of opportunities to bet on Bet Any Sports. So I will pass on this bet and I will wait for a better place to put my money, for a better opportunity to bet my money. However, if it's a website like, say, Bovada, they limit my bets so hard that I really, my balance on Bovada, I just can't bet the whole thing, even if I wanted to, because every single bet that I try to place, they limit my bets. So for Bovada, I don't have a minimum. If I see a Bovada bet, even if it's $10 or maybe $5, I'll go ahead and place it anyway. So it just depends. You should look to see which sports books you are completely going through your entire balance. Now, if you're going through your entire balance, that's not necessarily a bad thing. That should be your goal for every single day. Every single day, your goal should be to bet your entire bankroll. Obviously not on, one big bet, but like many, 50, 60, 70 small bets. That's what your goal should be every single day. So that you have, you're going to have variance, obviously, every day where some of the bets will win, some will lose. But in the long run, you're going to be slowly increasing your bankroll by a small percentage. And so let's take a look at that right now. So I'm going to go over to my bet tracker, and I've made my bet tracker public so anybody can look at these bets. So far today, we're in the positive, which is good. I like that. We've got 16 settled bets so far. We've got, looks like 11 live bets, and we've got 33 upcoming bets. So it's a lot of bets in one day. But this is pretty much about average for Saturday. I think Saturdays are a little bit busier than some of the weekdays. But here's the profit margin per wager is 2.21%. So if you're placing 50, 60 bets a day and your average profit margin per bet is 2.21%, I mean, to me, that's really good. You're actually going, you're increasing your bankroll by 2.21% per day on average. So that's what you should be striving for. And you should basically see you having too many bets might be a negative. Depending on the situation. This is why I'm more selective with some sports books and less selective with other sports books. So here's a listing of my profit by sportsbook. I got Bovada at the highest, and BetMGM. BetMGM is a weird one. I only had one big win on BetMGM. This is why it's in the positive, but it's not a sportsbook I normally play on because I'm not in a state that has BetMGM. BetDSI is up, and then DraftKings is a little, it's DraftKings is about a wash right now. Profit by sport. Look at basketball coming up. That's awesome. Once upon a time, I was thinking basketball was going to be my best sport betting. And for a while, it was really good. And then I took a huge negative streak. I had a lot of losing bets on basketball, but I like the fact that it's coming up. It's now number 3 behind football and tennis. It's now beating hockey. Hockey was my number 3. Now basketball has overtaken hockey. The rest of these sports, we're still working on. Look at that esports. Yeah, I bet esports. Get a small profit. Profit by bet type, no brainer. Positive EV is the best moneymaker. You have to just go on that positive EV page and start placing bets. And what is this? Profit by bet filter. I don't even know what this is. This is brand new. Pending bet type, odds boost, and positive EV. Live profit. So let's take a look at the last few weeks have been really good. Last 4 weeks are positive. And monthly. The more you zoom out, the better the picture becomes, the more accurate the picture becomes. So look at August. August was a down month. I started using OddsJam like the last couple of days of August. September was slightly positive. October was even better. November was better than that. December had a slight losing streak in December. Then January was my best month up to that point, and now February is way better than January. So this is what my goal is. My goal is to place lots of bets up, hopefully up to my entire bankroll, though I almost never get up to that point. And basically, as those bets settle, as I win the bets or push them, take those funds and bet them again. And I do that a lot. I often check, if I've bet my entire bankroll on one sports book, I'll either deposit more so I can bet more, or I'll look to see when the bets start to settle, and then I'll look to see if I can use those funds to bet more. So this is what you want to do. You want to set up a feedback loop where you're constantly taking your profits and reinvesting them and betting them over and over and over and over again, so that you get some sort of a huge boom where, January looked like an amazing month, but now February looks like even better. And hopefully March will be even taller. If I can keep placing all these bets every single day, that's what I want. This is not passive income. This is not an investment that you can just bet and sit back and on a hammock on a beach and just sleep all day. You have to be watching the numbers. There is no free lunch. I am in front of my computer placing bets all day. Okay. So this is work. This is not something where, you just put your money into it and you just, you watch it grow without doing any work. This is work. So, sorry to disappoint you if you think sports betting is going to be some glamorous lifestyle where you're constantly just, chilling on a beach, sipping Mai Tai. But I don't drink. Why? Because I need my wits about me to place these bets. I made a mistake today. I was actually trying to place a bet on who was going to win the first set of a tennis match, and I mistakenly placed the bet on the whole match instead of the winner of the first set. Now it didn't end up. It ended up not mattering anyway because it was they both lost. But the point is, you need your wits about you to do this. You need to learn how to navigate each sportsbook website. Each sportsbook website is slightly different. Each sportsbook has slightly different quirks. And the more you do this, the more you learn all these quirks, the more you learn how to take advantage of all these promotions. So anyway, that's my point. My point is your results will tell you, or not your results necessarily, but your how your bets are going will tell you whether you need to increase or decrease your bet sizes. So for a couple of my sports books, I now have minimums where I don't go below a certain number because I'm always using up my entire bankroll on those websites. For others, I'll take anything because I have more money on those websites than I'm able to bet in a single day. So if it's a small bet, I'll bet it. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope I didn't ramble too much. So let's get out there, make some money, subscribe for more, share this video with your friends, with your neighbors, with your mama, and I will see you at the top. Bye.